Well, last time we had a good discussion about, wealth creation. We didn't have enough time, and hopefully we'll be able to, do better today. Well, by way of a recap, maybe I should just ask you quickly, all of you, just give us a quick, overview and definition of what you think wealth is.
Probably I will start. The one thing I know is wealth is not money, because in order to enlighten our listeners, I have to make it very clear that when we're talking about wealth, people have the tendency of thinking about cash.
Mm-hmm.
But cash is just a unit of exchange. So wealth is not money, but wealth is those tangible and intangibles, that can actually sustain you in the long run. And you can think about assets, you can think about equities in stocks and bonds. These are things that grow as time goes on. Mm-hmm. So these are some of the things you can think about wealth.
Yes.
But in order to go into this topic, really deep, I would like to make some general statements about wealth.
Before we get into further details, let's give everybody a chance to quickly give us a snapshot of what wealth is. Chief,
yes. My colleague said wealth is not money, but for me, I think wealth is money and any other thing that money can buy.
Wealth is money.
Yeah, that is wealth. Wealth is just money and any other thing money can buy. Including whatever all the things he enumerated, the stocks and everything, they are all money because they have value. And when they have value, they are money. You can exchange it with money. So it's cash and anything cash can buy.
Okay, I like that. You're pretty much saying the same thing, but just different words.
Yes, I think basically they've treated it in the right sense. And just to recap from the last time we were here, I did quote Eric Ture, which said wealth is the ability to fully experience life. So if you put into context what my co-panelists have just said, you see that it has to do with the tangible and intangible resources of all kinds. Mm-hmm. And it is important, like we said the last time, for us not to limit wealth alone to financial prosperity. It goes beyond that. It has to do with health. It has to do with one's everything.
Wonderful. I like this. It's a very broad, all-encompassing definition, which is super. Okay, now let's see if we can dig down a bit today. Just to quickly preview, we spoke briefly about the definition last time. We also spoke about whether wealth is a class thing or not, whether it belongs to a certain class and only a certain class can be wealthy. As we know, in reality, some classes are really excluded from participating or enjoying wealth, or having the ability to move with wealth. So we talk about that, and then we also touch on the issue of academic education, whether that was a prerequisite for creating wealth. I don't know whether we really finished that, but hopefully we can, touch on that as well as we go along. And then we also briefly touch on the fact that migrants in the diaspora, are they better positioned to create wealth than those who are home-based? At my visit to Ghana recently, that was last year, I saw that there were Ghanaians who were really big time. Nigeria, of course, you know better than I do. They are billionaires in Nigeria. People are really, really wealthy. So being based overseas does not necessarily guarantee, it's debatable, of course, whether it does position us favorably or not to be able to create wealth. That is for us to discuss. So that we'll touch on also. Maybe you can relate to that as we go along. But my question for us now, and the starting question is one's environment a positive factor in the creation of wealth? And with this, I would like to tell our listeners, wherever you are most welcome to call in to, interrupt our discussion and, bring your comments or your questions to this our guests, visitors, and gentlemen and guests I have here. And we want to make a good deal of the whole thing. So, Do you think a person's environment has a positive influence in his ability to create wealth? Given all that we have said, wealth is. Okay, I can see Mr. Ikwago itching to jump ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you very much. What I can say is, the environment is definitely, in my opinion, a positive factor in wealth creation. I would like to answer your question in different ways. You know, the question I have to ask is, why is Africa so rich
yes, so poor,
and still Africans are so poor? Why? You know, I was listening to a program from Mo Ibrahim, one of the most respected Africans. He posed this question in a symposium.
Yeah.
And still nobody was able to give an answer to this kind of question.
What was the question?
During my research for this program, I started looking into some facets, you know, of African life regarding wealth creation.
Yes.
And now when I'm talking about Africans, I want to, for the course of this program,
yes,
I'm looking at Africans in diaspora and Africans at home, wherever you may come from as an African. Of course, like we said, the environment is very important to wealth creation because it affects the way you think. It enables investment opportunities. Even the policymakers, if the right environment is created, if they have the right interactions, of course it affects everything about wealth creation. In the new global environment, you know, coming from Africa, where technology is actually diminishing distance and breaking down barriers, African intellectuals, in my opinion, are a potential growth engine that could galvanize the continent.
African intellectuals?
African intellectuals.
Why have they not succeeded in changing the economic destiny of our continent?
That is exactly what I want to say. That is why I'm going to look at the causes and effects of why these issues.
Okay, Mr. Kwego, please, I want us to maximize the use of the time. If you can sometimes quickly summarize some of the points you're making, then we can all interact and, you know, do justice to the topic. Because I think you're in the mood to give us a nice lecture. Go ahead, sir. Finish up so that
I will try as much as possible to make it very short.
Yes, sir.
However, to make it very short, there are two things. There are more, but for time constraints, I will make it very short. There are two things I've discovered.
Go ahead.
Two things are due to insufficient skilled manpower. Now, in diaspora, there are some statistics that I was showing one of my panelists here. You see, there's a lot of brain drain. Back home, a lot of people are coming out of there and coming to the West or wherever they think they will have a better life. Why? The other part of it is people here, there is not an enabling environment back home for them to go back home too. So you see that what happens? It creates brain drain. So skills are not transferred back home in order to help develop our homes. That is number one. Number two, the second thing I will talk about is we are so much the government's home are so much keen on monoproduct. You know, everything our international business relationship with the outside world is mostly on what we call monoproduct, which are we are so overly dependent on things like raw materials and agricultural produce. Okay. Actually, if you look at the statistics from CBS, you will find out that the business relationship between Nigeria as a case study is our export. Our import to this country is quite less than the export from Holland to Nigeria. The figures that I have, I found very recently, is showing that the export out of Holland to Nigeria is 3.4 in billions, and while Nigeria to Holland is business is being done. Now, it is very, yes, it has a lot to do with your creation. We, like I was saying, first of all, we're talking about intellectuals. Then we're talking about business. Now, if Africans in diaspora if the enabling environment can be created back home for them to be able to go home and contribute, this is how you create wealth.
Now, hold on one second.
It's true.
You know, I think we easily like to put the responsibility on other people. We have been doing this for years, playing this blame game. You know, we have trained many intellectuals, many doctors, many scientists, and of course some of them, you know, travel like we are here right now. But is that the reason why we have not been able to set the stage to create the kind of wealth way to build up our country? Look, some years back, some centuries back, some people left this country, traveled to America. Then it was not, America is not what, wasn't what it is today. And they made, they made marks. You know, they left a landmark. They transformed America. America is what it is today because of some Dutch immigrants. You see, and they have transformed that place. And of course, others have joined them over the years. You see, but I believe we have received a lot by way of investment and training. I don't know what we've done with all this. What is really holding us back? Why can't we, with all the knowledge and skills we've acquired, do better than we're doing? I think for me that's the challenge. Okay, Chief or Joachim, one of you may want to.
Yeah,
so now we have been abroad for all this while. How much wealth have we created, which is supposed to affect our home countries, for example?
Yes, we have been talking about wealth creation. But in my own, what I want to say here is that it's not about creating the wealth, but about sustaining the wealth.
Sustaining the wealth.
Yeah, I'm going a little bit because by sustaining the wealth, you are also creating a wealth. Yeah? I will not go as a government versus government, but I will go to individuals who are living here.
Yes.
Because we have made money, we have seen wealth ourselves, but we cannot sustain it. And when you cannot sustain it, you cannot be able to transfer it back home.
By sustenance, you mean savings?
Yeah, there's different ways of sustaining it. Like I have about 7 ways I can suggest. That
Okay,
one
do that
can
for us
use.
quickly. Yes.
But let me just go quickly. Because 7 ways to sustain wealth, I suggest one is to remain anonymous. You know, our people, when they get little money, they make a lot of noise.
Yes.
And when you make a lot of noise, people will come. People who will take that money from you will be a lot. Demand will be coming from everywhere. Friends, relatives,
Good
and so on.
morning, caller. Yes, sir. Yes, good morning. Do you have a question for our panelists? Do you have a question for our panelists?
Okay, then.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so that is one area. When you do that, people, you can only sustain wealth when you have a wealth, and you can be able to keep it, to use it for prosperity. Or let me say it this way. When I say remain anonymous is that when we make noise, we get a lot of demand, dependence, and people will now take it away from you. In my place, they say that wealth is a stranger. Yeah? And if you don't take it, if you don't take care of wealth, it will vanish.
Exactly.
And tomorrow, the same people that we are pestering you will laugh over you.
Exactly.
That it has gone. So one of advice I have for our people in diaspora is that they should not be so flamboyant and be making it look like they have the whole world, and at the end they have problems.
I agree with you
Number
in
two,
the sense that, you know, I know there are Dutch people, coming into this example, Dutch millionaires who don't drive in flashy cars, they ride on bicycles. They are so simple you would not recognize them. So you are saying that our ostentatious lifestyle is a problem in a way.
Yeah. And,
I don't want to gentlemen agree with you, but we're going to
and
see.
again,
Yeah.
I can list them.
Please,
Then
leave
later we
the seven quickly,
discuss
and
it.
then I
Yeah,
will
let me
discuss.
list them and later we.
Yes.
Second one is avoid sudden lifestyle change. Yeah, because when we get money, immediately we change our lifestyle and everything will come back on us because people will come and rip us off. Number 3 is pay off your debts. Sometimes we keep debts piling and piling, and when you owe, there will be an increase. And we are talking about wealth creation. When we are talking about wealth creation, you are talking about how to minimize cost, yeah,
but, you know,
and then increase savings.
No, come in.
And when you are minimizing cost and increasing savings, you have to pay your debts. Always like to be neutral. Whenever there is money available in you with you, just pay it off. Be at a very free this thing, and then you are creating wealth for yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
So another one is you have to maintain legal and financial advisors. Some of us have touched money, but because of the way we spend it carelessly, we are not being guided by a specialist. Like all of us here, some of us are advisors, financial advisors, but when you tell a Nigerian that, especially my people from the Igbo race, when you tell them, advise them or something, say, business I've been doing right from when I was born. But it's not so. You have to get somebody to guide you. Somebody can tell you how to manage your money, how to manage everything you have. It's not only money, but everything you have, like some has estates, and we have a lot of things. But because they don't have a specialist who is guiding them, they lose all those things that they have suffered for.
So the problem of maintenance, maintaining our wealth.
Yeah, so there's no specialist, there should be a professional who are guiding you in everything. Even here, for the purpose of tax and everything, you have to get a financial advisor who can help you, because you have to pay your tax when due. And then if you have a tax return, somebody can advise you. So everything I'm enumerating here is about an individual. It's not about this thing, but everybody. So I'm talking about our people, the lifestyle we live here. So another one is invest prudently. Like my colleague has already said, invest in stock, invest in bond,
but you know what?
Invest in a lot of things.
Let me just
that
people
generate
are
money.
not, people are not well educated about some of these things.
That is why we are here.
It's for people like you who have an
But
MBA.
that is why we are here. We are telling them what they can do. They understand. That's why we are here. What we are here is to talk about creating wealth. And we are now telling them what to do.
Yes.
So it's not about being educated, but we are now telling them that if you invest prudently, you make more money.
It's true.
It's not about going about with cash, but you have to invest that cash so that it can generate profit. That when you have more dividend, then you will be happy. And then living within a budget. We live outside our budget. And that makes us to go down. When you live within the budget, then you see that you will always live a very good life. It's not you make millions. Today, you said you want to buy limousine. Tomorrow, you leave it and then go into building. Then you are moving outside. And then when you know that your income is 10 euro and you are spending 11 euro, or your profit is 10 euro and you are spending 11 euro, you know that you are taking 1 euro from your principal. That is the main cash you started your business. So you have to live within that in the profit, not about going into above your profit. Like in Nigeria, I can tell you sometimes the businessmen there that are doing business with maybe 3 million naira or 300,000 naira, and when they go home on Christmas, they go and donate money in the village to show off. They give 50,000, 100,000. When they come back, they have less than 100,000 in their capital. And that is not you are not
a good way to create.
No, you are not living within your budget. You have to live within your budget so that you can increase. Always try to go up, and then take steps to protect your assets. By this, I mean that don't do those things that will attract court litigations and all those type of things. Because when you have money, people will always like to rip you off. And when they want to rip you off, they will be looking every loophole. If they have any opportunity to take you somewhere to court and so on, and then they get for you to pay off, they just take you there. So we have to manage our wealth by sustaining it. You have to be who you are. Try as much as you can to manage your wealth within the cycle that it can grow.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I think you have pretty much dominated the Now, Joachim, can you just quickly touch on this? Do you think one's environment has a positive factor on his ability to create wealth?
Yes, of course it does. Yes, it does. Mike Murdoch said the quality of the soil will determine the outcome, the harvest. So the environment, though, is important. And one of our co-panelists spoke about the need for policy changes and implementation back in Africa, because such policy changes and implementation right here is what is causing the massive brain drain. And Chibagbo has talked about not only wealth creation, sustenance and protection also. I just want to say this briefly. Archbishop Idahosa said something. He said, a lizard cannot go into a river and come as a crocodile. Whether you're a lizard in Nigeria or you come here, the same thing repeats itself. The only way you can be different is when you are enlightened. They say the informed man is not the deformed man. They say for you not to have information, you are deformed. So the first area is capacity building. We must know. One of the areas Chibagbo touched on that I think is very important, we must look at it squarely, is on the area of Parkinson's law. There's a law in nature that is called Parkinson's law.
It's the only law that every man must break. You cannot break the law of gravity, you cannot break most of natural law. Parkinson's law simply states that expenses will always rise up to income. You think if you are earning €100 right now, if you earn 10,000 euros, all your problems will be solved. You'll be amazed that when you start earning 10,000,
expenses will
rise up to income and even above. So coming to your question, the environment is important, and that's why I personally wear double caps. I'm a business person, as you are aware, and also I'm a political activist, because I know if bad leadership is in place, if corruption is endemic in a society, the enabling environment for prosperity, for wealth will not be there. So let me drop it here.
It's a very good one. Shall we say the lack of maybe proper discipline? I mean, as far as we have knowledge, we have people who are enlightened, but there is something really endemic. Like Randy said, that is probably, him hampering our ability to create wealth. And you said a lizard cannot go into the river and come out a crocodile. So if we have, what really you think is hampering or limiting us from really being successful as we can be? For those of us who are now outside of our home countries, we should have a better capacity to prosper and to do better.
Yes, maybe I can jump in here. We've touched almost. Everybody has said something that is actually in one way or the other can lead to wealth creation, of sustaining wealth, But what I think is very, very important, personal, individually. Let me talk about individuals. For you to create wealth, you have to create. You have to develop a wealthy mindset.
True.
You have to think. People who are well, they think in a certain way.
Right.
I don't know if people have had time to study people that are very wealthy.
Yes.
If it is individuals, or if they are companies, even successful companies today, those that are more 100 years and above, they call them visionary companies. Right. They have a particular way of doing business. So bring this down to individuals and study and know what you have to do in order to be in that league of successful people. That is one thing. Create a wealthy mindset. Think successful. Think how you can make wealth.
Yes.
That is number one. Number two that I would like to talk about is...
And just touching on that, do you think we are lacking that in our community as far as Africans and diaspora are concerned? Do we really have that mindset, you know,
well,
having a visionary mindset, you know, with a mindset to create wealth? Because that determines, once you have set the direction where you're going, it drives your whole body, your whole personality.
Absolutely.
But once you don't have it, you just wonder about it.
Exactly.
Circles.
Exactly. That is
Do you think that's our problem?
Yeah, that is a problem. You know, that is why I was saying that, you know, what I have discovered from research is both in diaspora and at home, a very few people think about, you know, have a wealthy mindset. They know how to make money, but they don't know how to create wealth. Wealth is a combination of environment, policy, the right environment, then the right information. You have to surround yourself with the right information. You have to, for example, somebody said, learn the language and mechanics of money. You know, there is something that they call, when I talk about, like Chief Cleon said it about some things about, you have to surround yourself with people who knows how to increase this money and multiply it or transfer the cash to intangibles. This is very important. And also about the policies also. You know, these are the things that we're talking about. You asked me, is it that we do not know? Yes, I think we do not know, or we think that we know. That is one thing I've discovered also. Sometimes we think that we know, but we do not know.
Yes.
Because when you start thinking that you know, that is one where you will start having problems. The best thing to do is to be ignorant, then, or pretend to be ignorant and learn more.
Yes.
And you add it to the one you know. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to point out today is very important. For diaspora, you have to think wealthy, you have to invest your money, you have to look for information, and for back home, they have to create an environment that will sustain wealth. You know, a lot of us here, almost Africans, transfer money, which is sustaining the economy a lot. We transfer billions back home. But what we need more than the billions is skills transfer.
Yes.
There are a lot of skills here, which we've learned in developed economies, whether we like it or not. This is developed economies. There are certain things we've picked up here.
It's true.
That we can transfer home to sustain wealth and even create it more because we have the resources, we have the people, we have the skills, but the environment now to sustain it and make it grow is not enabled.
That's it.
The environment is not enabled here
In Africa. In Africa.
Back home.
Yes.
But what about here? Do we have the environment?
Yes.
But are we creating wealth enough? Are we?
Exactly. Maybe I will give chance to my panelists to say it.
Let me make mine short because I like being very brief.
That's good.
What he touched on is key and it's important and is worth looking at. First, the consciousness, the mentality thing. We all know the book, Napoleon Hill's book, which says Think and Grow Rich. It's not hard work that make you wealthy. It's smart work that makes you wealthy. And the advantage that most of us have here is because we've been exposed to some information, and such information we can take back to create wealth back at home.
Can we
The Bible says something. Yeah, we can't create. I'm coming to that. The Bible says something. He that walketh with the wise shall be wise, and the companions of fools shall be destroyed.
Yes.
Show me your friends, and I will tell you who you are. It's a law of life. Yes. If you walk with people with poor mindset, it is not a miracle you come out poor. But if you change your cycle of association, there is every possibility that you become wealthy.
Yes, that's true.
One key area that I think we should look to, which most Nigerians are into, is that entrepreneurial skills, acquiring entrepreneurial skills, which can be transferred not just to create wealth here, but taken back home. And like he rightly said, he said most of the time we Nigerians or Africans we believe we know everything. And Dr. Mike Murdoch says something. He said there are two people that you cannot teach. one is the one that think he knows more than you, and the other one that argues with you. So you live, and our characteristics as Africans is based most on these two issues, and thereby we don't go forward. Now, one area I would like to touch on quickly is the area of setting visions and setting goals.
Yeah.
They say if you don't know where you are going to, there's every possibility for you to end up anywhere. So the first area that we Africans should be conscious about, right here, we want to create word here, take it back home, is set a vision. What do you actually want to achieve? Let it be written on paper, because when you write it down on paper, that's the first physical form of your vision coming into reality.
Exactly.
Then you set goals. Short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals to achieve this. Once you have this in place, there's every possibility with the right information that you can become wealthy, and you can have more than enough for yourself and give back even to your immediate community.
Super. I like that.
Yes. One area I would like to touch on, I would like my co-panelists to also speak on this issue, but is some of the key areas where our being here in the diaspora can benefit back at home. I think I have a few things I would like to suggest which are very...
But if we are not sound, we are not strong, we are not wealthy, are we able to give back to those back home?
Of course. So that's the first thing is the law, which says all things are created twice. First in the mind, then in the physical. If it's not here, if it's not within, you don't see it without. I will not be selfish with the time, so that I'll let my wife I do have a lot to say.
Let's take a short break. I think we're going to have to do a part 3 to this. I guess